All right, good afternoon. My name is Forbes Goldman, and I am an equity analyst on Redeye's tech team. I'm pleased to welcome our next company, Gapwaves, with CEO Lars-Inge Sjöqvist. But before we open up for a general discussion and Q&A, I would like to start with a short presentation of the company and the investment case. So, headquartered in Gothenburg, Gapwaves specializes in developing antennas, largely for automotive and telecom applications. Essentially, the company is built around an extensive patent portfolio based on the Gap waveguide technology, courtesy of the inventions of the founder, Passima Kildal. Gapwaves has been listed on Nasdaq First North since 2016. And while the initial couple of years as a listed company were relatively coupled to research and development and smaller scale deployments, we believe the company finds itself at a very exciting inflection point now, able to fully commercialize its offering and initiate high volume production of its antennas. So moving on to the investment case, firstly, we recognize the company's unique and differentiated technology. The bottom line here is that Gapwaves antennas are more power efficient than traditional antennas, while at the same time being more cost effective to manufacture than existing waveguide antennas. So it eliminates the trade-off between efficacy versus cost that exists with existing solutions. Second, several promising applications represent a very large multi-billion-dollar total addressable market. Of course, the antenna market for automotive and telecom applications is already very big, but will continue to grow due to, for example, increased regulation and the trend towards self-driving in automotive, and also the shift to 5G in telecom. But what we are also seeing and also very encouraging is Gapwaves expanding into new verticals such as last mile delivery and the Internet of Things, which in our view are two very large greenfield opportunities previously untapped. Third, and perhaps the most recent addition to the investment case, is Gapwaves' in-house knowledge within high volume assembly and testing of antenna units. And as far as we are concerned, these capabilities are quite unparalleled in the industry. No other company seems to be able to produce these antennas at the scale Gapwaves is. And last, the limited competition at this time is likely a result of the high barriers to entry, which are created by significant capital requirements, large patent portfolios, and significant manufacturing capabilities, and of course also some softer skills such as relationship building, which of course take time. And a final word then about the Redeye rating. For the mentioned reasons, Gapwaves scores well in our rating, 4 in people and business and 2 in financials, as the company still is unprofitable. We have a positive perception of the technical expertise within the management, the large insider ownership, controlling ownership actually, and the competitiveness of its offering. Before increasing the rating further, we would like to see maybe 1 or 2 high volume agreements with automotive customers, as it would be the ultimate validation of Gapwaves' qualities. So having said all of this, I would now like to open up to a Q&A and welcome in the CEO, Lars-Inge Sjöqvist. Okay, welcome, Lars-Inge.
Thank you.
I hope I did your company justice with that presentation.
Absolutely. You made it better than myself. Thank you.
Very well. So I would like to start with a first question. very recently you announced yet a follow-up order from an existing customer, a tier one automotive customer. This time, updated antenna specifications. Could you say what is this customer testing for and why update the specifications?
Yes, in this case, the customer really wants to now go forward to what they call start of production, which is planned for 2024 in the summer with this specific customer. And what they do now is they go over in the next phase of antenna qualification. But they also all the time try to change and do the best of these antenna solutions to cover what they want with the, in these cases, I think it's in a corner radar we are talking about. And then there's the specification could be changed from time to time to really find out the best solution for the car manufacturer. So it's also our customer is also talking with the end customer daily. They will also test all this equipment on real cars now during the autumn. So it's going on the development. At the same time, we are also developing, of course, the production capacities and capabilities to really fulfill what should be coming in the future here.
Great. And so several viewers have asked questions about how much testing is required and how far away or how near could a final decision be. So are you able to say anything about this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that maybe I shouldn't say too much, but the customer is really eager to go this direction. The other thing they can do is going for what they have today, which is an 77 gigahertz on radar with a typical Apache antenna. But if they should come over to a waveguide antenna with better performance and a lot more capability for this type of corner radar, have a very broad view, is really the only way to do that is to go this direction with us in this case, I believe. So it's not so much about the change from another supplier. It's more if they should fully go for the waveguide antennas, which we absolutely now see, then this will happen. And then it's this typical A, B, C samples in different versions coming over time, and they will be tested both by a lot of things for safety reasons, of course, but also be tested a lot for what could happen when it get very warm, very cool, if it's other things happens with the car. So there is a number of stuff which has to be, they have to test a lot. That's really the truth, and we have seen that more closely now.
Great. And maybe a final question on this subject, but could you comment the potential at play? I mean, the customer is still undisclosed, but if the customer goes the whole way with integration, what could the potential be?
In this case, we talk about a tier one customer in the size of, I will say, 25% or above that in the market penetration of today. And I'm pretty sure they don't want to be less than that in the future. And at the same time, you know that the volume on this market will grow. And we are talking about at least 5 radars per car coming years. And that means if we have one today, it will be 80 million units. If it be 5 per car, it will be 400 million units, maybe 2027 something. So the volumes will definitely be very high. And this is also, of course, demanding that for many reasons, the customers always want to be very safe that they can also produce all this stuff over time. So the ramp up is dramatic, really.
Exactly. So I have another question on the automotive subject. So you have interacted and entered agreements with several tier one automotive customers throughout the years, some disclosed, others undisclosed. However, those customers you don't interact with or have entered agreements with. Why not? Are they going for a different technology, a competitor, even though you don't have that many? What are these companies doing?
I would say we have discussions with all of them we know today, but some of them are not in the phase of changing their so to say equipment currently. They go for the old versions of antenna solution with maybe a little bit poor performance and a different way to handle it. But all the ones going for waveguide solutions, they have Gapwaves or the other competitor, which is Hyber and Sune. These are the two ones who can supply automotive radar antennas with waveguide solution, and that's quite well known today by these big tier ones. So depending on what the end customer are talking about, like BMW, Mercedes, Volvo Cars, etc., what they are in their phase of what they will see in the future. These customers we work with exactly are working very closely in these interactions with these customers, end customers. So it could differ from customer to customer, but we are absolutely well aware of all what is happening. But also we see that some of them are not as successful as maybe we will see Veoneer, for example, selling things now quite soon in the market to some customers. But we also will see other customers we do work with, which will come up. And yeah, I had told you before, it's like 5 to 6 customers in the area of tier ones, which are interesting for our technology, really, not so much more. And that covered like 90% of the total market today.
Well, perfect. Thank you. And well, I have a few questions on your in-house assembly and your capabilities here with manufacturing and testing. It's still at a very early stage, and you recently just moved offices. But do you have any long-term ambitions with this facility or manufacturing?
Well, I can say it like this. Today we manufacture here in the office, 50 meters away from where I'm sitting now. We are producing the antennas for Under in US. We are talking about a volume of 6 to 7,000 units now, and we will also here assembly the ones we will do for smart micro later on. These are typically big imaging radars, and we do them here and do the assembly here. But our capacity here is really to focus on doing the first kind of versions for both assembly but also end of line testing, the testing of the full antenna, so to say, because every antenna should be kept with a if we can call it a diagram or some kind of information that we have been doing all this measurement on each antenna before we deliver it. That could be as a follow-up for everything we are selling. So these things we are working with, and we can transform that over to for example, Franken. That's a part of that agreement we have with this supplier. But now it's more important that we really make it, and our ambition is that we can cover up to 150,000 units per year in the facility we do have here, talking about assembly and also end of line testing. But going beyond that, we will absolutely need other kind of facilities or push it out to some supplier who can do this by daily work, because it's not really engineering work in the same way when you are in full production. There is more need for cleaning less and that kind of stuff, which is also important to cover. So going for the really high volumes, it will not happen in our office, but we can produce and deliver quite a lot from here as well. And that's good to show for the customers are very eager to understand that this is possible to do. That's one of the important stuff.
Great. And a question about what you can do in your own offices. Is there an opportunity of perhaps automating some of the things you do in-house, or would you say that the volumes are so small that there isn't really a point in doing it?
It's very automated, the things we are doing here. Otherwise, it couldn't work. The current phase or tempo we can and produce these antennas today. We can talk about this under because it's official. We do like 200 antennas per day, talking about assembly and also the end-of-line testing with all the documentation. This is automated, and we also have, in these cases, specific end-of-line testing equipment for all these 28 different channels we have to measure. And for that, we also have robots working closely with this. So it's not so much by hand any longer, and it's needed to take the next step really to make this with robots.
Yeah. And you've evidently been very successful with the in-house production and to ramp up from 0 to several hundred thousands, which you will be able to do later this year. But looking at some of your peers in the industry, what are their biggest challenges with achieving high volume production? Why haven't they really been successful in achieving that?
Yeah, if we talk about the major competitor here, Huber and Sooner, I don't know exactly what is happening inside their business, but we know that they have facility in Asia, but also they do something in Latvia here in Europe. What we know about them is that they have the problem as we don't need to do. We don't have to solder things together. We don't have to glue things together. We just put things together and use what we call an ultrasonic welding equipment, which makes our assembly process a lot more easy to handle. And also the requirement for us when we are talking about these layers with the pins, they are quite helping us not having so much. It's a lot of precision in this, but we don't need as such precision as you need if you go for a classical waveguide solution. I can see that there is really a challenge doing this with the other technique.
Yeah. And you mentioned Huber and Sooner as a main peer competitor, but are you noticing new entrants to the industry? Perhaps some smaller ones or some larger ones making some backward integration?
Honestly, we thought there should be someone, but also heard from our customer, the tier ones ordered things this week. They told me that, Lars-Inge, you have to understand, it's you or Huber and Sooner doing the waveguide antennas today. There is no one else. We have tried to find more companies, but haven't found anyone more. So that's what I know. Probably there will come up something. I never know. That will be very realistic that we will see other competitors coming up, by the way, but we don't know them today.
All right, we have about a minute left, so I'll ask a final question. New radar verticals has become one of the most interesting use cases and applications this last year. What do you think are the most interesting use cases within this? And do you think it has the same potential as perhaps automotive and telecom?
Typically, I see this traffic management system, smart city solutions coming up. This area is growing, I will say, quite quickly because the radar in these solutions are very important and good things to have. And the other one, last mile delivery, we are really into it exactly now. We deliver for Under, who has, as we know, one of these tech giants behind them buying the equipment for last mile delivery. And they are eager to have more. And the ramp up phase in these cases are quite dramatic also for us because this has never been done before. So we are first out how to solve these kind of things with these quite big antennas solutions for these under cases with an imaging radar solution. So yeah, both cases are interesting, but still they are in the early phase, I would say.
Okay, perfect. We will have to end the Q&A there, but really enjoy talking to you, Lars-Inge.
Thank you very much, and thank you.